So good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this Council for Hospitality Management Education PGR Research Training Series on Conference Networking for Success. So for those of you who haven't met me, I'm Alisha Ali. I am the Vice Chair of CHME, but in my day job, I am Head of Research Degrees in the Social and Economic Research Institute at Sheffield Hallam University. That's a very long title and mouthful. But basically what my job entails is that I provide leadership for our doctoral programs relating to social sciences, and part of my role is around training for doctoral researchers. Hence why I'm very excited about hosting this event for CHME. And I'm really, really thrilled that my colleague, Dr. Pallavi Singh, has agreed to lead this seminar session for us on conference networking for success. So I will let Pallavi introduce herself, and she will share a little bit about her background, her research, and then, talk through, conference networking for success, because I'm sure you're all here because you find when you go to conferences, you're not sure what to do. As a doctoral researcher myself, when I went to conferences, I wasn't sure who to talk to, if I should be talking to people, what is the dynamic. So I think it's quite important for us to learn and understand that a bit better. So Pallavi, I hand over to you.
Thank you, Alicia. Hello, everyone. I'm Pallavi. I'm a senior lecturer of marketing in Sheffield Hallam University. My research mainly focuses on sustainable consumption behavior. So I'm a consumer behavior researcher. I gained my PhD in 2016 from University of Sheffield. And it's been a long time since I first went to the first conference I went to as a PGR student. So yeah, it has been a journey. So I will share what I learned throughout my journey, and I'm really hoping that you can find some useful tips today. I've tried to make it quite practical. Please feel free to ask any questions just for the management purpose. So Alicia, are we taking question while the presentation is going on or after the presentation, how we are doing it?
We can take questions after, but you can also pop your questions in the chat.
Cool. Can you all see the slides? Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so conference networking for success. Just before I start, just a quick understanding that how many of you have been to academic conferences before or are planning to go? Except Alicia. Alicia is not.
Okay, I was in several conferences.
That's nice to know.
And I was in one conference as a presenter. I presented my research.
That's very good. That's very good to know. Anybody else has got any experience of going to academic conferences?
Yes, someone put in the chat that they've been to one.
Okay. I'm really sorry, I can't see since I'm sharing my screen, so I can't see the chat box. So
I'll monitor the chat for you. Don't worry about it.
Okay, right. Thank you. Okay, so we will be covering what to expect, how to go ahead with the networking in the conference. So today's session, I'm kind of dividing it into three main areas. So after the introduction, it would be the pre-conference preparations, and during the conference, what we can be doing or what we can do, and after the conference, so post-conference. Okay, networking. For me, it is actually the act of meeting new people and in a context. The context is very important, but like even if in the social context we meet new people, there is a common context around. And especially if we take this in the academic conference context, so there is a context of academic conference where we are going, but at the same time, there is also like we are going there with certain goals and objectives. Either it can be like we want to present our own work, it can be like we may want to meet people, so there is always that context there. It's also to develop strong connections and relationships in the area. So it is important that we understand what exactly networking means for us, and we take it from there. So rather than having this very intimidated feeling of, okay, we have to meet new people and network, if we understand that what exactly it means for us and what we want to take out from it, the intimidation factor dilutes down a little bit. And it is engaging with others and being engaged. So it is very important that we are present there. When we are even engaging with the others, we are becoming an active listener. So we listen, we offer value, and it is always that exchange that you want to get something out of it, but at the same time, you are offering a value there. So if we understand that, it makes things a bit easy to plan. In the conferences, my experience is it is a bit harder at the beginning to network, but it can be really easy because there's something common among the people who are attending there. It's the conference. Everyone is there because they are connected together with the central theme or the motive of the conference. If it is a hospitality management conference, then everyone who is there is associated with this hospitality management in some aspect, either as an academic researcher or as a practitioner. So the common thing is that there is hospitality management there somewhere, hospitality as an industry there somewhere. It offers us an easy access to find people in your area because of the common theme, and it is sometimes really easy to break the ice. Normal questions like, where are you coming from? So what area of research do you venture into? Questions like, oh, so have you been attending this conference for a long period of time? So is it your first time? Or just saying that, oh, this is my first time. If you are attending the conference for the first time, saying that, oh, this is my first time, but I'm really interested in this area. So this whole context of conference does give quite a lot of avenues to break that ice very easily. But to actually make the most out of the conference and the conference networking, there are certain preparations required. And I found it quite useful throughout my journey. So I'm going to share some of the tips here. So pre-conference preparation is quite useful in setting that steps towards success. One of the things which I always recommend is setting your objective. So not only from the conference, but networking in the conference. What exactly do you want to get out of it? What is your objective? It can be simply that you want to meet new people. And meeting new people and building connection is quite exciting for a lot of people if they like and they are very natural in personality in meeting people and building up connection. But it can be a very set objective and can take a lot of effort for people who are not very natural in meeting people and building up connections. So even if you want to make this your objective, it's totally fine that you want to meet people and set up an objective like, I want to meet 5 new people of different career stages in this conference, and I want to build up that contact and follow up with at least 3 of them. And that can be an objective. Having those little objectives set up is very important, because then after the conference, when you are measuring what you did, this will help you to reflect back and see, okay, so what you did and what you got out of it. one stage you may be thinking, okay, I am going to the conference which with a different objective, can be whether you want to find a potential collaborator, you want to find a mentor who can help you probably defining or refining one of the research papers you are writing, or you want to know more about the publishers, or you want to meet the journal editors, or a funding body, the representative of a funding body is coming in that conference and you want to meet them. Or if you are interested in working in any institution and you know that their representatives are coming to that conference, so it can be a future career opportunity as well. Another set of objectives can be that you simply want to learn what's happening new, what's in your area of interest, want to learn from the speakers, want to participate in the workshops and the panels. And a very important objective is that you want to raise your profile. You want to showcase your work. You want to present yourself. You want to get feedback on your work, and you want to tell other attendees that, yes, this is who you are, this is what you work on, and this is the current project you're working in. So setting up those objectives will actually help you achieve success in networking as well. At the personal level, it is quite important, because if you are an introvert, then having this set goals will lead to a very structured interaction, and then will help you not drain out socially. And then once you have achieved your goals in a step-by-step manner, you can actually, the whole experience can be rewarding. And if you are an extrovert and you really like meeting people and having those interactions going, so setting these specific goals will also help you have that focus, so that you are not kind of just going out and meeting everybody, but also have those structured interactions there. It also helps you to find some right people to connect. When we go to conferences, always have, I always think that I have a structured strategy that I want to meet these people as per this career or academic goals, but I also want to engage in a very informal networking, where I just want to meet people who are researching in that area and develop my relationships. But with my structured goals, when I have these very specific goals, like what I want to achieve from the conference, it helps me to find the right people to connect to, and also asking relevant questions. Examples are that if you meet a person and you know that you are looking for a particular publication in a particular journal, you can ask questions like, do you have any connections in that editorial board? Or can you put me in touch with that particular associate editor? I know they are there. Or things like, can you tell me more about this funding you have just received? Or how did you actually go on to establish that collaboration? Or if you're looking for a future job opportunity in a particular organization and you found the right person, you can actually ask questions like how it is being a faculty member in that institution. So it actually helps. It can feel a bit utilitarian here, but it helps neutralizing and diluting that feeling of intimidation as well. So stepping inside the big conference hall, getting your name tag, can actually give a lot of people a lot of anxiety that, oh, now the reality is hitting. So having that set goal actually helps at least in the first day of the conference, and then it organically processes, it organically emerges. Then pre-conference, you actually have to work on yourself as well a bit. So your profile needs to be complete. So building up your LinkedIn profile, have a photo attached, because if you are looking for people through their online profile, it would be really nice to have your photo on your LinkedIn profile, and very updated LinkedIn profile on what you are doing, what your achievements have been, which institution you are associated with, so that if somebody else wants to find out about you, then they have the updated information. Some of the conferences these days are actually using apps to connect people there and also provide conference program. So do join those apps and be active on that app. So create your profile on that app, use a photo. Any other social media which you use for academic purposes, make it very active and relevant. Any social media which you don't want your professional connections to access, then just close that profile or lock that profile. It is very important that way. Prepare your business cards if you use business cards and if you have resources to create business cards. I know it can be a bit outdated method of making connections, but sometimes it can be really handy, because even if you don't have access to a notepad to write anything and you have your business card in hand or anybody else's business card in hand, conferences do provide pens, so just write something on that one, so it can be really handy in that way. Once you have worked on your profile, you also need to work on how you are going to make those connections and achieve your goals and objectives which you have set up. So the pre-networking, it can come really handy, and it's an art. So you have identified the conference you want to go. Now start researching. Look at the program. Conferences generally release the list of their keynote speakers way in advance, and then the full conference program at least a few weeks before the conference. So do your research, note the name of the speakers you want to connect with, just do a brief reading on their work so you are prepared, and you are prepared not only about them, but also if you get a chance to speak to them, then you can be really valuable in your conversation. Find people you want to meet and connect with them. So you can find people who are attending those conferences and presenting in that conference via the conference program, because generally the conferences actually release the title of the presentations, the authors of that presentation, and also the presenting member, whoever the member is who is going to be in the conference. So you can connect with them through social media. And it is important because if it is a big conference, then you are going into the crowd of hundreds of people. So sometimes it is hard to find the person there. So if you are pre-connected with them, then you can actually schedule a meeting. You can invite them into your sessions. If you're finding it difficult to approach somebody just via social media, and even if you have approached them and they are not responding to your connection request, you can ask your supervisors if they know them and put them in touch with them. You can ask any senior colleague. Or you can find a former student or a colleague who is now working in that institution, so using a second degree connection. So use these techniques to connect with some of the people who you really, really want to meet in the conference. And most of the time, these are the people who are quite senior in their career and are the quite established researchers. And most of the time, these people probably either are way too busy in the conference or may be surrounded by many other people. So finding them can be hard. So if you pre-connect, schedule a meeting, or invite them to your sessions, you may have higher chances to have an interaction with them. So this is just an example what you can write in your connection request. And this is by no means is the best possible example, but this is just an example. So if you're dropping them an email, or if you are sending a connection request on LinkedIn, be very specific. A personalized message is always very useful. So calling them by name and saying that I see that you're presenting in this conference in this particular date. I am, my name is this, I'm a student here, or I am from this university and I'm very excited to know more about your research. I do have a paper under review. which touches on the same concept. If you have the paper under review, if not, if you're working in the same area of research, just say that I'm working in that same area of research and at this point I'm at this stage. I really want to connect with you during the conference and chat about the research. I'm presenting in this session on this day and this time. I would like to invite you to the session. I would love to hear your perspective on my research or on my work. So anything around this line, which is very contextual, that you are telling why you are connecting with them, what you are doing, and what you want to get out of this connection, but in a very polite and very requesting manner. And that way you can then follow it up on that, and probably if they remember, just drop them an email or a message a day before your session as well, if you don't get a chance to meet them in before. And then if they get to come to your session, yeah, so that's a success, and you then have a chance to interact with them. Now, preparing and practicing your introduction is quite important. I know it is not an elevator pitch, but sometimes it is quite important that how you introduce yourself. Always remember, you're not selling anything. It is all about having 3 and 4 lines about you, what you are doing, and what your research area is, just to start the conversation. And it should always have that open-ended question at the end so that it can proceed a conversation later on. So always don't take more than 20 to 30 seconds to introduce yourself, and it may change a bit of tone, bit of words as per the audience. Like if you're meeting a very senior colleague, then you can be a bit more formal about you, which institution you are associated with, and especially stressing what your research area. But if you're meeting colleagues who are at the same stage as you are in your research journey, and you want to have a very informal conversation and connection, it may change a little bit. But having that open-ended question at the start of the conversation can actually give you that start of the conversation. Most of the time we think that, oh, I can introduce myself very easily, but in those kind of situation, you may find it a bit challenging. So a little bit of preparation would be useful. Now you're ready and in the conference, collecting all your name patches, etc. So what to do now? Now it's the reality check, isn't it? Okay, dress professionally. It is important. You always make a good impression when you are dressed properly. Wear your name tag always, in whichever format it is, because a lot of time, and try and see that the front of the tag is there visible to the other person. Sometimes you actually go and meet people and you use their name tag to start the conversation. So it is important that you are wearing it properly. And you have your networking tools all handy and ready. So networking tools like your business card, you have prepared your introduction, your online portfolio is all ready, your social media profile is all ready. So you have your LinkedIn app downloaded on your phone so that you can just click on it and use it to connect. So having things ready means that they are handy with you. Use the conference program. Give yourself 15-20 minutes at the start of the conference, on the first day of the conference, to identify sessions which you are really interested in, to know more about the current area of research, to extend your knowledge, to enhance your knowledge. But also if you are identifying people who are presenting there, so know about their sessions as well. And engagement is the key. So when you're attending sessions, engaging with the session, not just being there, but actually engaging by asking questions, showing interest is important. A, for your own learning, because you're asking questions and you are learning. But B, also because you're introducing yourself and you're asking questions, and I'll show you how later on. And also putting yourself forward. And it is an indirect way of networking and making other people know about you. Complimenting on people after their presentation is also a very simple way, but very effective way of building that relationship. Doesn't matter what stage of their career a presenter is, they always like an engaged audience and always like having a compliment after their presentation. So even if you are attending a keynote speaker of a world-renowned researcher, if you find anything really interesting, you go to them and compliment on their work. And with that very key part of their presentation, that would start a very meaningful conversation. Okay, so coffee breaks are quite important during the conference. It's quite important to de-stress, deconference, as I always call, that you are busy in attending sessions, meeting people during the sessions as well. So you can use the coffee break to take a break from everything and just enjoy your coffee. But sometimes these coffee breaks can be really a good place to have like not very formal engagements with people as well. So a little informal conversations. So strategies can be that if you know people, if you have been into some of their sessions, you can join them in those coffee breaks to continue the conversation you had during the sessions or after the session. And or you can actually use these coffee breaks to meet more number of people. Remember that these coffee breaks are quite short. So you can use that time frame and limited time to meet more number of people, spending only a short while with one group. So you're not basically bound to spend quite a lot of time with one group only. So that time restriction actually gives you that opportunity. You can simply join a group saying that, hello, may I join your conversation, please? And trust me, nobody will say no there. It's just coming out of your comfort zone, or that initial discomfort you have to go and meet new people. If you come out of that and just go into a group and simple statements like, can I join you? Or can I sit with you? Or can I have my coffee, having a conversation with you? People do like it. If you are in the conference to know more people, extend your network, the other people are there with the same sort of goal as well. So always remember that it is a very common goal. You can follow it up with your introduction, saying your name, your affiliation, research area. So remember the introduction pitch you prepared before. So it can be a time to actually practice it, because remember, it is an informal coffee break, coffee conversation. So you can practice it and perfect it. But at the same time, you're actually making that impression. Ask about others in the group. If you don't want to talk about the research, you can simply use conference as a point of conversation, saying that which sessions they are going or presenting, what they have enjoyed so far, and that can give you a conversation starter. You can talk about it. You can ask open-ended questions like, okay, so have they been to the keynote speaker session and did they enjoy it? What they found out from it? What's their opinion on it? You will have the conference app ready. And sometimes I have that experience that there have been some sessions which, just by reading the abstract or knowing the title, I thought I probably won't have time to go into those sessions. But through these conversations, these coffee break conversations, I found out that, oh, so this session, basically the abstract probably do not do justice with the session, and it is more into that session. So I changed my initial program and I went into that session and had a very good learning. So these coffee breaks can actually give you more information about the sessions. You can meet the presenters themselves and know more about their research. So it is quite important. Don't just sit in the corner and not meet people during the coffee breaks, because always remember, coffee breaks are 30 minutes. So you're only there for 30 minutes, right? 30 minutes of the first time stress, and then you can come out. If you feel connection with the people you are talking to, you can go to the sessions together, and that actually just organically build up that relationship. Always have the exit strategy. There is a danger here. If you really feel connection and comfort with a group of people, we have this habit of just being with them every day. So remind yourself that, yes, now you found friends, right? You found comfort. You can always come back to them, and do come back to them. Every day, come back to them. But just take a break from your comfort of people around, and then go and meet other people. And for that, it is important to have an exit strategy. How will you exit the group conversation and go and meet people? I'm going to give you some examples later on of some of the statements which we can use. Connect people on LinkedIn, social media, or exchange business cards. When you're meeting them, connect with them there. We connect with so many people on social media or exchange business cards that after conference, when we are reflecting on our conference journey and the success, or doing a follow-up, we forget what we were talking with this particular person. So just business cards come really handy there. So you can just make a little note on that and keep it for your own reminding purpose. And that's why I quite like business cards, exchanging business cards and making notes on them. Even if they don't give me business cards, I just use my own business card, write their name, and then make a note there, because I'm connecting with them on LinkedIn anyway. So I follow it up and match it up with my business card. Awkward conversations, right? Where if you are the first time conference attendee, or you are going to a very, very big conference, where you feel out of place. And at that point, we always feel like, I'm very awkward, but trust me, you're not the only one there who is very awkward. So having these awkward conversations like, hi, I normally feel really awkward walking up to this stranger at an event, but I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone. So I thought I would say hello to you. And it can be a good icebreaker and a conversation starter. So don't feel that if you're feeling awkward, or if you have nothing to say to somebody, or if you are very early at your career stage, at your research journey, and you think that at this point, what value can I add, or what I can contribute in the conversation, don't feel that you don't have a value. You have started your research journey, and you have already accumulated that value when you write your research proposal and you start your research journey there. So you already have that. People who are there have gained that that status through experience and through years of working. So there's always something to learn. And I have seen quite senior colleagues encouraging very new colleagues, coming up to them and having these kind of icebreakers that a networking event can be really overwhelming. Mind if I join you over here? And they help people getting very comfortable, having the conversation with them. So even if, and you can find somebody in your own situation, standing in the corner, sipping on their coffee and feeling the same awkward as you are, you can just go there and talk to them. And it's two of the awkward people in the conversation, but at least you have somebody there. Now, leaving a conversation, it can be really challenging at many points. But as I mentioned earlier, that people in the conference have a goal of meeting people. So you're not the only one. You are having a very good conversation with a group of people, but now you think, oh, so the coffee break is only 15 minutes left now. I need to meet at least one group of new people. So you can simply say, taking the first name of the person you are talking to or the group of people, address them by their first names. And that's where being the active listener comes into the play, that you are paying attention to what the other people are saying that it was pleasure speaking to you. Can I connect with you on LinkedIn, please? And find them and connect with them there itself. So take your phone out, connect with them on LinkedIn, and then say, I'm going to meet with some other people now, and I will find you in the rest of the events. Are you going on in that session? I am going there, so I'll see if I can find you there, and I'll meet you there again. If you have your business card, so exchange your business card, and simply saying that I'm going to meet some more people, have a good time, and I will find you later on is very important. If the conference goes on or extends to more than one day, it is very important that you go back into the conference after the sessions or the following day, and you try and find those people who you met the day before and rejoin them and reconnect with them. So that gives that continuity and repetition. So you will now start recognizing each other's faces, and you will find you become more familiar. Attending the sessions also is very important. Important, obviously, to know what is the current research going on, but also putting yourself forward and asking questions in the session is a very crucial way of showcasing engagement. It gives quite a lot to the attendee, like for you, as well as it brings value to the speaker. So for you, it is, if you're asking a very important question, so getting the answer will help you enhance your knowledge. But by asking the question in the session, you're also creating an impression on the speaker. You are introducing yourself to everyone sitting around you. And it is actually an indirect way of networking. So you're basically making everyone know about you. You're putting yourself forward. And for the speaker, if you are a speaker in the session, it's quite useful and valuable to see your audience engaged with you, that they're listening to you and they have questions on your work, and it gives the speaker more time to share their experience. So having that interaction in the session is quite useful for both. So make use of that. But how you are asking that question is quite important from the networking perspective. So you can stand up and always introduce yourself before asking the question, saying that I am this, use your name, I'm a PhD or a postdoc student from the university of this, and then ask your question. After the presentation, then follow up with the speaker. Remind them who you are. Just say that, hi, I was the one who asked you this question. Thank you so much for sharing your answer. Always thank them for giving their time to answer your question, engaging with you. And you can also follow up with another question if you have, and that can be a conversation starter. But if you don't have any question, that's totally fine. Just thanking them for their engagement with you is quite good. And you can actually follow up after the event is over. So networking in a conference can take multiple shapes, can be very active networking where you are actively going and engaging and meeting people and talking to people. But at the same time, it can be indirect networking where you are using the sessions, asking questions to present yourself and also make connections. Social events are quite relevant as well. Never underestimate the power of social events, because they give an excellent opportunity to network in a very relaxed environment. You can actually discuss things outside of the work, like hobbies, which gives a very natural platform to have proper, valuable conversations and build up real relationships as well. It is very important to be engaged there, but also follow up after the social events. Most of the time, the social events are organized on the second last evening of the conference. So there is still a half a day of formal presentations after the social events. So during the social events, whoever you have engaged with, or it doesn't matter how many people you have engaged with, try and meet them on the following day as well. Now, after the conference, it's very important to follow up. Follow up with all the connections you have made during the conference, and personalizing your following up is quite important. So when you are sending them an email or you're sending them a LinkedIn request, always personalize your your comments and the messages, saying that it was really nice to meet you there. I really enjoyed your that presentation or the conversation you had. And then I would like to connect with you, and keep following it up. Be very timely. So try and do this follow-up just within a week after coming back from the conference. Otherwise, you will forget and they will forget. Always express gratitude to people who have given you time. It doesn't matter what career stage they are at. The senior colleagues, we have this habit of thanking them, but even the colleagues who are there at our stage, they are also spending time with you and they are interacting with you. So it's always good to thank them and express gratitude. Make it really easy. So use email, but at the same time, you can use LinkedIn or any other social media to connect. Like, I met a colleague who was very comfortable connecting on Twitter and more responsive on Twitter. So use any of these methods depending on what they are comfortable in, and provide value. You can connect other people to them, or you can share any new paper to them, or if they are posting anything about their current work, you can share and reshare it. So engaging is not always about what you are getting out of them, but it is also about you are helping them to spread the word about their work or network. And it is not very difficult. We always share, reshare on LinkedIn and Twitter anyways. And follow up consistently. It is important. If you see that, okay, in some of those connections which are organically emerging, it's really useful to connect. You can make friends and then connect later on. Okay, is anybody going to this conference? Shall we actually organize a meet there? So this is some of the suggestions for following up statements, actually. It was great to meet you at the conference. I really enjoyed hearing about the project they presented. Can I connect with you on LinkedIn? But as I was saying, this is by no means the perfect ways. So it is just a suggestion. You can draft your own. You can also extend that follow-up to organize a virtual chat at any point if you have any particular project in mind you want their suggestion on, or you want a collaboration on. And this follow-up can actually give you that avenue to start that further relationship. And to end, be very patient. It takes time. Keep attending events. If possible, become a regular. Following up with the contacts and nurture your own network. As I was saying, if you know that some people will go to the same conference next year, so schedule your own event in the next conference, meeting the same people you probably met for the first time in this current conference. So building up that network will be really useful. And that's for me.
Oh, thank you so much, Pallavi. I'm going to find the applause reaction. Yes, thank you so much for that really, really detailed and insightful presentation with a lot of tips around how we can actually start to network. And I think also, even though I've been networking for a while, it was really good to hear these tips and be refreshed on these tips.